Welcome to the Fresh and Fit podcast, a place that gathers the dumbest and most insecure people from Miami.
I'm not fucking insecure. I'm very secure in my goddamn confidence.
There's only one guarantee. You're not leaving this podcast until it either drives you insane or INCEL.
Hypergamy is a thing. And what does that mean? They date up. Since they date up, that means that you're dating down. And since you're dating down, that bitch better start sucking some dick.
I'm taking the red pill today, boys. That way I can rent a boat, fill it with women from Craigslist, and wear a CEO necklace? Before I get to the main section, a quick note about hypergamy nonsense. If it's not already clear, hypergamy refers to the idea that the vast majority of women get with a man that is above their own social or economic standing.
Oh, she's a gold digger.
Some people's belief in this can become so extreme that they'll think only a very small subsect of men even have a chance with the majority of women, leaving the rest of the dudes in the dust on their own.
Only like maybe 10 to 20% of men are like having all the girls. So what happens? The average guy gets kind of left out on the dust.
Here's a couple of things that are true. Women have an easier time finding casual hookups. Obviously, you'd be blind not to see that. Women also do seem to generally prefer men that are higher up on the economic ladder than they are. However, the discrepancy is not as massive as some of these guys will have you believe. If hypergamy was a real thing, that would be reflected in census data. The economic and social status of women should be constantly, consistently rocketing up. That's not happening. Social mobility is largely static and stable for both men and women. There's a ton of debunkable aspects about hypergamy. It's a nice story, but it's just not happening on a wide scale. But that's a whole video unto itself. For today, I just want to react to some funny shit, and I'll draw some conclusions at the end.
Monogamy for the man is a choice. Monogamy for the woman, it's pretty much necessary. Kat is trying to put a square peg in a round hole, saying my view is crazy, but it's actually based
on what?
in biological fact, and it's worked for millennia. And as a matter of fact, we have the society we have today because of polygamy to some degree.
But only for the man. So get cheating, boys. Just as a side note, these are horrible arguments. Just because something has existed a certain way for a while doesn't make it right. There's no evidence that it's based in biological fact. And furthermore, he's actually just wrong in a historical sense. He's right in that it seems to be like polygamy was a thing for a lot of human societies, but I'm pretty sure it worked both ways, like for men and women. Like a woman would have multiple partners, and often they wouldn't even know like who was the father of their child. The entire village or community or whatever would just raise the child as their own. Now you can call that cuck shit if you want, but that seems to be how a lot of early civilizations operated. What is this dono? Jabrizi Magic $49.99. We find it funny how a women will know they need a job, go to college.
If you're high value and you're red pill at the same time, guys, you've won the game.
Man, get you some high value education, bro. I don't know what the sentence is. This is the kind of fan that these guys attract, by the way. Like always some weird dude like looking off into the distance, like pose, wearing like his best clothes just to have on his YouTube profile.
You said you want a man that makes $300,000 to $500,000 a year is going.
What? Yo, she's insane if that's true. If that's her genuine desire, that's fine. But sometimes there's this weird expectation that there's something wrong with having a male partner who makes a decent or just average salary.
I'm also a 1% woman.
I'm assuming you mean financially, right? Because you earn quite a bit.
I mean,
What makes you a
that
1% woman? That's what I was going to ask you.
Being natural, my financials.
Just shut up. Just shut up.
Are you aware that men don't care about a woman's financials? What actually makes a woman 1% woman are things that women typically don't tend to highlight?
At all.
Come on, don't say that now. Well, we have to stop saying this men don't care thing, okay? Like, some men care. I don't know why this dude generalizes and projects what he finds attractive onto other men.
Men want a woman that's going to be a dutiful wife and mother first. Attractive, agreeable, feminine, and fit. Naturally submissive, attractive woman that's going to follow my lead.
You know what? Any gold digging bros out there, you're just as valid as all the gold digging hoes, alright? Your own personal preferences are fine, but not everyone wants a timid mannequin for a wife. With the cultural and economic shifts that have taken place in recent years, I find it hard to believe that there isn't an emerging group of modern men that are attracted to a woman who is ambitious, driven, intelligent. And on the flip side, a portion of women should have their expectations rebalanced too. It has to happen, otherwise we're left with chaos. We don't want the situation where loads of women want like their Prince Charming who also makes like a shit ton more than them. 99% of men are not able to match that level.
You want a man that makes a lot of money, successful, ambitious, can provide you a certain lifestyle. Pretty much the man you described as a 1% man. Guess what? If I'm broke, short, ugly, girls don't date me. So the market dictates my value. So as a woman, if a high value man isn't marrying you or proposing to you that you love, admire, and respect, the market is judging you as well. And now you're not of value.
Like this market thing might make sense intuitively and it's like a decent analogy to dating, but it's also sort of bullshit, right? Are we going to be drawing supply demand curves now? Like if you watch more of these guys' content, they go really hard on this market shit. They treat it like a science rather than the half-baked sloppy analogy that it is. How do you measure a person's value? What is the value of a man? man who has a good salary and is tall and ripped, but he has the charisma of a volleyball. Or he's extremely narcissistic, or he's just fucking weird. Sure, he may get more swipes on Tinder, but what is that actually worth? For most people, dating probably isn't like going grocery shopping, where you have a pretty clear checklist of what you're gonna buy. Maybe attraction and human relationships is more complicated than liking a particular brand of cereal. This shit is popular with incels because they like to think in very rigid hierarchies, that there's always winners and losers, that some people are fundamentally less than others. Not to mention, this is before we even get into stuff like polyamory or open relationships, which is getting increasingly popular. Where do they fit into your market calculations? Because they don't get locked down by one person.
Marriage is not about necessarily happiness. It's about duty of raising children that are going to be contributing members of society.
That's not true. Loads of people get married who don't want to have children. You don't have any duties, okay? You don't come with like an instruction manual hardwired that, oh, this is what you have to do with your life. What is this quote on this dude's t-shirt? When women reschedule, does that say, I punish bad behavior? Man, this guy really wants you to know that he's alpha as fuck. Alright, let's check this out. High value man roasts woman. Wait, is this the high value man? Yo, what's with this dude's getup? All the guests on this always seem so whack, dude. Like, this isn't a podcast, this is WWE.
I'm gonna keep it nice and fresh and waxed for you. I'm gonna cook your food. Just gotta bring home the bacon. That's it.
shit.
I don't ask for a lot.
Mr. Organic is a high value guy, right?
Dude, imagine unironically pointing to someone and being like, hey, you're a high value guy. Bro, can I fill your quads? The market would pay for that. That's right. These guys are like 3 steps away from reinstating slavery, I swear on my life.
What do you look for in a woman?
Of course, most of them is gonna stand on they pretty, they gonna fuck you and all that. Come home, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit, man. We get that just because you're gonna be at my home when I come there cooking. I don't need that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, this guy goes against everything that other dude said, and everything this podcast tends to stand for.
Compliant, feminine, attractive, fit.
Willing to
Not
hear the
promiscuous?
words no.
I need a girl that's gonna understand what I go through. Who's gonna keep a motherfucker on top of his toes. That's gonna push him and motivate him. You know what I mean? That's also gonna come with some ideas. You know what I mean? Give me creative criticism on my grind.
Sigma male grind. So are they gonna call him out on this, or are they just gonna ignore it because it seems like he's disagreeing with this woman and that's all they want? They just want people to like shout at women, talk about how useless they are, use that as clickbait for their incel following. Kinda unrelated, but dude, these are such paid actors. This lady is zonked out. He doesn't give a fuck.
You gotta bring something to this table. Like I could fuck any bitch I ever wanted in my life. I always have. That's not appealing to me no more.
Damn.
So that ain't nothing, man.
Preach, brother.
Yeah.
Preach.
What do you mean preach? You guys are saying the opposite a little while ago. You guys are some cloud-chasing, disingenuous bullshit artists.
Poor
So
thing.
you'll take a basic bitch that is somebody that you want to talk to over a bad bitch that will inspire you.
So you consider yourself a bad bitch?
No, yeah, I do actually.
So you above basic. Well, you don't work. You don't have no attributes to the table here. Like what
I
are we
do
talking
have
about?
attributes.
Like what?
I inspire.
What are these self-compliments? Like, I'm natural, I inspire. It's getting to me, bros. I think I might hate women.
How? You haven't got no job. You got what's your education?
Listen,
what's your master's
but you
degree
have
in?
to but you have to realize that when men make it to a certain level,
Right.
they're not checking for a woman's education. When you're making millions of dollars, you don't care about a woman's education.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, look at her telling him what you care about. Yeah, man, you thought you cared about a certain thing? No. Look, she's actually completely in line with the host, by the way.
The more a man makes, the less he cares about what his potential partner does as
Yeah,
far as her
100%.
job.
They just want to shit on women. That's what I'm getting out of this.
I could tell you ain't got no brain.
Honey, I worked in corporate finance.
Dude, how are you laughing? You're supposed to agree with her. Also, corporate finance, that could mean anything.
I'm a rich man. I got an estate in Malibu. Okay,
An
2
estate?
acres. Yes.
Oh, I
2
would
acres.
like to see the paperwork.
Okay, we can show you paperwork.
Go ahead and
Show
show me the
paperwork, too.
title.
We gotta show.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't believe him either. I think this podcast has like an IQ threshold. Like if you go beyond a certain level, like you have 3 digits, you're not allowed in. I know Fresh and Fit have a lot of overlap with Kevin Samuels, so I want to sort of seriously address both of them and that whole red pill genre more generally. I will say, I like Kevin a hell of a lot more than these guys. He's just funnier, and I don't think he has the same level of deep-seated insecurity and hatred. The best thing you can take away from these guys is they do point to some cultural realities that sort of exist, especially regarding certain double standards or whatever. And all the stuff that they say about, work on yourself, get your money, that's all fine. The worst stuff you can take away, apart from, just hating women, is a very reductive, narrow view of people. They build and sell you this absolutely false reality based on dumb extrapolation of some descriptive facts that are sort of true. You know, an idea I've heard repeatedly from them is that because of the internet, all the cute girls have endless options and they're all being flown around and wooed by millionaires and athletes.
A moderately attractive profile, she's gonna get DMs and messages from all types of guys that you mentioned before. Guys with blue check marks, guys that are athletes, guys that are celebrities, whatever it is, or because she's getting hit up by higher status men in LA, in Miami, in Vegas, whatever, and I'll travel to that guy. You know, it's gonna be way more fun. I'll go hang out with him. He has money, he has resources, he has a cool lifestyle.
Wait, he actually thinks your average moderately attractive woman is just flying around to millionaires. 90% of the cuties aren't being vacuumed by LeBron, okay? Forget that the data doesn't show this happening at a significant scale. Just like think about it for a second. You know how ridiculous that sounds? For the fans and the young men that soak up this information, it ingrains in them this idea that women are shallow snakes, and that you have to be rich to even stand a chance. It's especially funny, because on the one hand, they'll say stuff like, men, get your game up for yourself, get fit, make your money, don't chase hoes, they ain't shit. Oh, and the reward for that is, you'll get all the bitches you could want. It's like they simultaneously tell you not to value women, but at the same time, it's clear that female validation is incredibly important to them.
Pussy's pussy. Don't put it on a pedestal. I'm gonna lead you to the fucking glory of pussy, pussy, and pussy.
When you look at someone's content, I think it's always very telling what they choose to focus on and how they channel that energy. If you're pumping content like high value man destroys dumb bitch, cocky gold digger, rich mega chad puts the smack down on dumb feminist loser, like, okay, fucking chill. These guys will look at how things happen to have developed in modern civilization and they pin it all on nature. Women have to be super selective and men are more promiscuous. And people who highlight things this way ignore the societies and historical instances that don't suit their narrative. I understand that there is a certain descriptive reality and it's fine to acknowledge that. But I think defaulting to the idea that, oh, this is all just natural, you can use that to justify just about anything that happens to currently be. And I think it really restricts your mind. For example, it is a fact that black women and Asian men tend to be viewed as less attractive, but I'm willing to bet it's probably not a purely natural thing. That as our culture evolves, that's subject to change. If you just accept these things as a natural reality, then you automatically put people in a box where they're eternally fucked. And that's what makes them incel factories, trying to boil down complex human interaction into reductive, gamified BS. They seem to think that all relationships are a transaction of women getting their money and status from their men and men getting pussy. Like with so much of what they say, I often think that these guys just want hookers, but it's like they're too ashamed to admit it or something. Also, I'm almost certain they're intentionally scamming their audience as well. I'm sorry, but you can't be earnestly selling a course for hundreds of dollars when you have the societal complexity of a fridge. You have to recognize that about yourself, right? Okay, apparently while I was making this Fresh and Fit got exposed or some shit by some other red pill manosphere people, and now their channel is getting bombarded with dislikes and unsubs. I think it's funny that all it takes is for another big creator to call them cringe, and suddenly a bunch of their fans start turning on them. It's an issue with these spaces generally, right? Like the people who watch this shit are so lost, so wanting to find like a person that represents alphaness in their eyes. It doesn't matter the countless hours of dumb shit that they said, or the fact that they were clearly fake as fuck for ages. All it took is for someone higher up in the pecking order to make these guys look a little more cringe than usual, and suddenly no one wants to be associated with them anymore. Like nothing about these people changed. They were clearly giant morons for ages before this. They just got called out by one of their own. I don't know, I think it's an interesting dynamic. Okay, that's all. Smash the like. See you next time. Bye.